on the floor of the emergency room. They're like, we can't get you in just yet. You're going to have to wait. So I'm on my hands and knees, like bent over a chair. I was in so much pain. Dude, I mean,
Now it's like,
I'm serious. I
yeah,
mean, we joke around a little bit, but
yeah,
fuck, our guys our age, you're gonna
I
hear
know.
that. Yeah, he died from
A
a
chest
chest
ball.
cold. We get back from New York, and my son comes home for about a week for spring break, which is great. So we had the whole family together. One night, I'm feeling kind of weird, and this kind of goes off a little bit about what you and I've kind of talked about
Yeah.
before. Like, fuck, we're getting old,
Yep.
and shit just either it doesn't work, it's not working as well, or like we're thinking, could it be a heart attack? Could there be something
Right.
going on?
Right. Yeah. I know the feeling. I gave Rachel the warning one weekend. I was working on something and I just told her, I said, "Hey, just so you know, like I'm just gonna say it out loud." I was like, I feel weird. Like my heart was pumping. And I was like, I don't think it's anything, but just in case, like you can be like, oh, he said
But
something.
why that we
Why?
had never done that in the first
No.
40 years of our lives, right?
I know. Yeah.
And then now you become paranoid over something that
Yeah.
doesn't feel right in your body.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we probably both know enough people our age that have fucking died
I know, man.
just
Like
like
I
that.
don't yeah. Yeah.
And
It is kind of weird.
it really makes you stop and think about some things. And so I was in bed, and it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was just uncomfortable, and it was the weirdest pain on the lower left side of my back. And it wasn't what I
Oh,
had when I had my back surgery back in 2012 or
sure.
whatever. And that was awful. The pain I was in there. This I can easily say was far worse than the back surgery issue that I had.
Yeah.
And I got up and I went to the bathroom thinking, God, is this a bathroom issue? And I was like, there's no way, but I was just begging that it would be. And I got back into bed, and Amy, my wife, she was asleep. And this whole last year for us, I mean, her with her cancer and all that. So
Yeah,
so
dude.
I'm laying in bed, and
Oh no.
I'm like sweating my balls off. My shirt is soaking wet,
Oh no.
and I'm like, is this a is my are my kidneys failing, or is this an appendicitis? Which my brother, his appendix ruptured a couple years ago,
Oh
and he
man.
barely
Holy
made it to the
cow.
hospital, and that's deadly.
Yeah, that's brutal, right? Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, and that's super painful too, right? Like,
Yeah, so I
I
was
mean,
like,
yeah.
I was
Oh.
sometimes I'm like, I'm just gonna bear through it, but I'm like, fuck, if this is an appendix rupture or my kidneys are
Yeah,
failing or
yeah,
something, I can't fuck around. And
yeah,
you know, we I we neglect a lot of doctor things
yeah,
just because just everything costs so much.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I didn't want to wake her up, and I was like, oh, but
Y-
it just got to the point to where I just said, hun, I was like, something's wrong. And kind of like with when you were talking to
Yeah,
Rachel.
yeah. When you say it, it's like, yeah, it's like you're nervous to say
Yeah,
it.
because and it's in the middle of the night. Both our kids were home, and I'm just like, oh, if is this how I'm going out? And I'm joking about it now, but I
Yeah, you were.
seriously, I was
Yeah,
like, I don't know if this is it, and I don't know what it was. And that was the other
does
thing,
it?
is like the fear of not knowing what it was.
Yeah.
And she's like, do you want to
Is
go?
this?
Do you want to go to the emergency room? And I'm like just usually afraid of any kind of doctors. I just don't do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, we got to go. And so she knew it was serious. And uh, she got me there in like 20 minutes
Where'd you go? By your out by
out
the
by the
house?
house.
Yeah.
And she drops me off. I barely make walk in myself. I check in, and then I am on the floor of the emergency room. They're like, we can't get you in just yet. You're going to have to wait. So I'm on my hands and knees, like bent over a chair. And you just don't
Mm.
give a shit, right? Because it's just like,
Yeah, yeah.
you're not embarrassed. I mean, there's other people that were there. And I'm just like, I was in so much pain.
That
And
sucks,
so
buddy.
she didn't know what to do. She was getting frustrated because we couldn't get in. So I think we were in the waiting room for about an hour. They got us in, and then we were waiting for another 2 hours in the room here. So she took a picture. I said, "You got to get a picture in case I do survive this. I might want to talk about it later."
Oh my God.
So I was like, "Just snap this picture." And
Oh, that's so funny.
but I think they had finally come in and gave me some medication, but I was shaking.
Dude.
Have you ever been through a surgery or something, or been in so much pain that you just start
Yeah.
shaking?
Not pain. I mean, I've been through surgery, but they've always been to fix something, but it was like planned, not because of like an emergency. You know what I
Right.
mean? Where you're like, I mean, I had broke some bones when I was younger, but it never made me shake. So I can only imagine what that was like, too.
It was almost like you're freezing. That's the only way I can I couldn't
Yeah,
stop it.
yeah,
And we hadn't seen the doctor yet, but the nurse practitioner or whatever was coming in checking on me, and
yeah,
I was like groaning. I was like, all I remember was saying is, why is this hurt so much? And
yeah,
I was nauseous. I was in so much pain that
yeah,
I told Amy, you see the trash can behind me on this picture? I said,
yeah,
give me a
yeah.
trash can.
Oh, because did you say that? I thought you said maybe the medicine made you sick too, or
Afterwards,
okay, okay, anesthetics,
whatever
or
medication or something they were giving me would make you nauseous. So then they give you anti-nausea.
yeah.
But what was making me
Oh,
nauseous
yeah,
here was the pain.
dude.
And so finally the doctor comes in and they're like, we think it's a kidney stone. And when I heard that, I was like calming down a little bit, but I was still shaking.
Yeah,
And he's like, we're gonna have to do like a CAT scan or MRI or whatever, and to be sure. But we're gonna give you some pain meds to try to bring down your pain level.
damn, dude.
And I'm like, are you sure that that's what you think it is? He goes, I from what you're describing, the pain on the left side of your spine. And he goes, it's it's an
Yeah,
intense
yeah,
pain. And it's something that I've been through back surgery and stuff. And
yeah,
that was awful. This was even worse.
yeah.
So
That's
they wheeled me back and did the MRI or whatever and came back and they're like, oh, we can see it and it's just working its way out. So it's a matter of you just passing it. And I was like, are you
oh,
kidding?
that's terrible.
So
But that did that give you hope?
it
What
did
did that
because
like? What
it wasn't an
I mean,
appendix that was rupturing or something.
yeah, yeah. You're just like, okay, now I know what it
Yeah.
is.
So you can rule
Okay,
out the things that are
the
unknown.
permanent stuff. Yeah,
And
yeah.
the fact that he thought he was pretty confident that it was just the kidney stone that just had to pass. And he's like, you can stay here until you pass it. But he goes, if once we get your pain managed, um, I just assume have you go home unless the pain you
Yeah,
just can't get
yeah,
over. And so they kept upping my
yeah,
pain meds to the point to where then I started feeling pretty good. And then I started getting
yeah.
sick from those.
Oh no.
And we finally got home. I don't know, it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. And all you do is you take pain meds and you drink as much as you can and you try to go to the bathroom
Oh, yeah.
and they have you pee. I should have brought the thing down just to show you, just in case you ever have to go through this. It's a little tube
I hope.
and a strainer, and you pee through the strainer
Oh, oh my
so
God.
that you can
Yep.
see the thing when it finally comes out.
Yeah.
And
It's like a funnel.
that little, yeah,
Like when you would take your kids to those places where you jiggle the sand and see if you can find the
something
little
like,
piece
yeah.
of gold.
So you pee through that, and I think it was that
Then you have to
next
drink it.
day and then you're looking in the thing that you're peeing in. My wife's helping out because
Yeah.
it's hard to see. I mean, we're looking for something that was 3-4 millimeters or something.
Damn.
I mean, totally gross. I mean, I could barely do it for me. I mean, I guess this is why you're married or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Somebody loves you
exactly.
so much that they're
Exactly.
going to do this stuff for you. And I remember I got up to pee, and I was like, "What is this? What's in the thing?" So she came and looked, and I'm like, is that it?" And it's like a grain of sand that is
Oh,
causing just
oh.
ridiculous amount of pain.
Do they know why what like what causes the pain? Is,
Yeah.
is it because it's blocking something?
I you know what? I should go look it up. I'm supposed to go see a urologist now. Now that I'm done with it, I was like, yeah. But they're like, you need to, because I have to take the sample in to have them test the sample.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
So that was my week in the past month, and that
Wow.
set me back before and after because I wasn't feeling right before. So I think some of the things that were going on was because of
Yeah,
that. And then after, it took me about a week
maybe.
to recover.